Welcome, Cyber Beauties. As you can see, I start off with a clean face. I'm going to start off with putting Makeup Forever Step 1 Smoothing Primer. I place it all over where there's very big pores and I'm very porous. And I put it all over my T-zone as well because my nose is, well, it's very porous. I have very hot, dry skin. So you can see I'll put a second primer, which is a hydrating primer from Makeup Forever Step 1. Next, I get the Makeup Forever foundation stick in 177, and I place it on my cheeks, on my nose, and my forehead, on my neck. And then I will get a Morphe brush M439 and Max Fix Plus, and I will be blending this in. I grab more Max Fix Plus because my skin is super dry and it absorbs it very quickly. Next, I get Urban Decay Weightless Concealer in medium. And I noticed that it was a little bit too light, but I'll be blending this in with a damp beauty blender and it will grab most of the product and blend it in so it doesn't look as stark white on my face. And then I noticed that I did not do, I usually get the beauty blender and place it over my eyes to prime my eyes. And I didn't do that to the second eye, but I'll do that in a few when I start putting the translucent powder on my face. Next, I get Makeup Forever translucent powder in compact. And this is where I noticed I didn't put the concealer on my eye. So I grabbed the beauty blender and I put it on my eye and then go over it with the translucent powder. And the reason why I put the translucent powder on my eyes is because it helps with the transitioning of the shades when I go in with my eyeshadow. Next, I get Bobbi's Brown Face Touch Up Foundation. I use this to contour, like contour sticks. I got the idea from when I bought the Smashbox contour sticks. And I noticed that I got tanners, so the sticks weren't contouring as much as I like. So I bought a shade higher than my regular foundation with Bobbi Brown, and I use this to contour. And it's a little warm, so I also use it to bronze. But you'll see that I'll use a bronzer later on to set my contouring. Then I contour my nose to, people say, snatch the nose. So it looks smaller instead of big. And I'm using a Sigma F82 to blend out the contour. And then I go back in with a little bit of the concealer with a beauty blender. And again, I put more translucent powder because I noticed my lids were creasing because they're very oily. Now I get the Tarte matte palette and use Force of Nature for a transition shade. I'm using the E40 from Sigma. This is a nice fluffy bending brush, so it would go on very easily, very smoothly. Next, I go with Best Friend, and I use it to put it on the crease, and it's supposed to be the technique of like cutting the crease. So you'll see me blend and blend. I am a big blender. And then I'll keep going over and over and over until I get the shade I prefer. And blending is key. And if you see jagged lines or anything that's not buffed out properly, I always go back and get a clean MAC 217 to go over it. Now I grabbed another shade from the matte palette and I'm darkening up the crease so you can see a more in-depth part of the crease. So this is like a purple smoky eye with some transitions of purple and browns. I'll go in also with a couple of blacks so it is to the right consistency. Some people say I blend to the point that my eyes bleed. But blending is key to getting the makeup the way you like it. So I get now the black, and I am trying to do pretty much what's called a wing, but with the shadow instead of a liner. I learned this technique from Jaclyn Hill, so hopefully Jaclyn is proud. Now, when people do their shades and you notice that you put too much or too little, remember, people, this is makeup, so you can either blend it until you get the color that you like, or just start all over with a makeup wipe and just wipe it down and redo it again if you don't like it. Remember, it is makeup. This is your creativity. So go with the flow. And if you don't like it, just take it off and start all over again. I usually smoke out the lower lash line with a pencil brush, but since I already had the 217, I went ahead and did it there. I'll fix that with putting a little bit of concealer on the bottom to get it to the right amount, because it does look like I put too much on the lower lash line. And then I get a clean E40 to blend out the colors so it doesn't look so jagged and have edgy lines. So I noticed that my camera wasn't recording, but I put a little bit of concealer on the bottom to take away the excess fallout as well as any imperfections that I didn't like. Now, I went over another light shadow over everything I just did, but I'll get a 217 and then blend out where the dark colors are and tone it down to where I would like that light shade to be. And then a clean E40 again and blending it all out. I wish I went that fast, but that is on fast speed. So don't think I do my shadows that fast. And then I get the Makeup Geek Foil Shadow in Whimsical, and I use that as my inner corner. I will blend that out. That is very, very hella bright, but I love being seen by NASA's satellites. And then I use what's left over on the brush to highlight my brow bone. And then I get the NARS black eyeliner to do my waterline and my lower lash line, and I will smoke that out as well. And then I get Maybelline Studio eyeliner to do a little bit more of a winged eyeliner. I wanted to look dramatic. I thought the shadow would do it, but it wasn't doing it for me. So I just did at least the lash line so it can show that I was trying my best. I'm happy with what I see. So now I get Anastasia's brow brush to brush out my eyebrows. And then I get MAC Pro Longwear Brow Gel in brown to fill them in. I usually get Anastasia's pencil to fill them in, but today I just wanted to do just a gel liner. And then I put too much. So I'll go back with Anastasia's concealer and go over wherever I put too much of the gel on my face. And I'll grab a E25 from Sigma and blend that out. So now I get Bobbi Brown's bronzer in Deep to set my contour. I love this contour. It's very warm. It makes me look like I've been out in the sun. And when I bronze my face, I bronze where I contour usually. I should have gotten a smaller brush when I started contouring my nose, but since I already had the product on there and I didn't want to put too much product on my nose, I just went in with the big E2 from Morphe. And then I get Makeup Geek Blush in Spellbound, and I put that right on my apples of my cheeks and go a little bit up where my bronzer is. And then next I get Becca Cosmetics Champagne Pop Jaclyn Hill. You are a goddess. Amazing. And I put that all over my cheekbone, and I also put it on my temples. I like to shine. I do like to look like I am greasy, but I'm not. And then I get NARS Penta lip liner. And I line my lips with the NARS lip liner. They're very creamy and they make my lips last longer. Next, I get Anastasia Beverly Hills liquid lipstick in Dusty Rose. This is a beautiful, beautiful liquid lipstick. And that is my final look. And I hope you enjoyed this, Cyber Beauties. See you soon.